Pilgrimage is defined as a journey, especially a long one, made to some sacred place as an act of religious devotion. I am Paul Honecker, and along with other members of the River Road Chancel Choir, was privileged with the singing of evensong services with two pilgrimages to England, one in 2015 at Canterbury Cathedral, located just 60 miles east of London, and a second one in 2019 to the western part of England. These pilgrimages were more than just visiting sites as Chartwell, the country home of Winston Churchill, or walking the ruins of Stonehenge, or climbing more than 120 steps up to the bell tower of Canterbury Cathedral, all of which I had that experience and a privilege to do. However, for me, these pilgrimages of mission were meaningful, deeply spiritual, and life-changing as well. Canterbury Cathedral, with its grand architecture, was built in 1070 AD, and it was here where the River Road Choir was appointed as the choir in residence. Our responsibilities included singing the evensong services for the week, as well as being the guest choir for the next Sunday morning service. Consider walking down this center aisle of 178 feet on Sunday morning with the cross before us and the Canterbury clergy supporting the River Road Choir at the end of the procession. The view was magnificent. The singing was glorious. And to the tune of Regent Square, we all sang, "Lord of beauty, thine the splendor, shone in earth and sky and sea, burning sun and moonlight tender, hill and river, flower and tree. Lest we fail our praise to render, touch our eyes that we may see." Personally, I barely got through the first stanza when unexpected emotions filled me. My singing was given away to speechless praise and an adoration of God that had given me a week full of inspiration and awe for my days at Canterbury Cathedral. Through music, I met God that day. And it was during that week, after experiencing two self-guided tours of the cathedral, I came to the crypt, which was located below the choir and the high altar. In the crypt, I passed a rather large table where prayer requests could be written out on paper, which I did. This moment became very personal for me, as I had just learned a few days earlier, before leaving on this trip, that a dear friend of mine, of my age, had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. When I turned from this table, I saw kneeling benches ahead of me. I knelt and made mention of Marlene in prayer in this cathedral, where prayers have been spoken every day during morning prayer since 1100 AD. Through prayer, I met God that day. And moving forward to the summer of 2019, I found myself on another River Road pilgrimage when visiting the cathedrals of Bristol and Gloucester and the abbeys of Tewkesbury and Bath, all in the western part of England. Tewkesbury Abbey, one of the largest parish churches in the United Kingdom, boasts over 900 years of history. This beautiful medieval abbey, built in the 12th century, stands right in the center of town, with lovely landscape grounds and an interior with an impressive painted vaulted ceiling and stunning medieval stained glass windows. On Friday that week, while we were singing the evensong service at the Abbey, I knew better than to veer my attention away from our director, Bob Gallagher, but I did. My eyes caught the glimpse of the radiant sunlight coming through the colorful stained glass windows surrounding the altar. And at that moment, I realized where I was standing. For I was singing, I was in the middle of my own story, my pilgrimage, but also the continued story of Tewkesbury Abbey, where the gospel and song have been proclaimed since the 12th century. As I was singing, I realized I was standing on holy ground, in this choir loft where the saints had stood for over 900 years before me. I was part of the Tewkesbury Abbey story of proclamation, and once again, I was speechless during my singing. I thank River Road Church for honoring these opportunities for many of us to experience a ministry of music like no other. We were blessed to be servants representing the River Road Church of Richmond, Virginia, on mission and ministry. We all have our own stories where God has met us along the way. I invite you to remember yours, to proclaim them, and share them with others, those moments of pilgrimage in your own life. There's an old gospel song that was written in the late 19th century that gives even more clarity to our own journey through life. When we walk with the Lord in the light of his word, what a glory he sheds on our way. May this truth be so with your own personal pilgrimage.